Well, it's a remarkable new discovery revealed by National Geographic. A mosaic uncovered in the floor of an ancient synagogue in Israel may depict a legendary meeting with Alexander the Great. The discovery shedding some new light on ancient history. Jodi Magness is an explorer and excavation director for National Geographic and a University of North Carolina professor and archaeologist. She's the one that started this big discovery. Jodi, I'm curious about that. You say you got interested in archaeology around age 12 with the Girl Scouts. So what was it like from going from the Girl Scouts to making this major discovery?
Well, yeah, I've been working in archaeology my entire life, and everything that I've done has been wonderful and fascinating, but nothing has compared with the discovery of this mosaic.
Why is that?
Well, it's the first time that a non-biblical story has been found decorating an ancient synagogue. By non-biblical, I mean a story that does not occur in the Hebrew Bible or Old Testament. And the quality of the mosaic is extraordinary, and the fact that it might depict a meeting between Alexander the Great and the Jewish high priest is also amazing.
We want to get to that reason why you think this is Alexander the Great. There are those that think it might be somebody else. But take us back, if you would, a few steps. How did you even find this mosaic?
Right. So I started this excavation in 2011 with the goal of excavating a particular kind of ancient synagogue building, not expecting to find mosaics, because the kind of synagogue that we're finding is not typically decorated with mosaic floors. Usually they just have plain flagstone pavements. And in 2012, when we reached the floor, we discovered, in fact, that there are mosaics. And we discovered over the course of several summers different scenes in the mosaics, including a couple of scenes depicting the biblical hero Samson. And over the course then of 3 different summers, we brought to light the extraordinary mosaic that we're talking about now.
What was that moment like? We're seeing some of the mosaics on the screen. They look like they're in remarkable condition.
They are. It was amazing. My husband is a professional photographer and the dig photographer, and he has pictures showing us standing around watching as our site conservator, who's the one who cares for the mosaics, brushing back the dirt so that for the first time in 1,600 years, these mosaics were brought to light again.
That must have just been an incredible moment for all of you. So we're seeing them, and we're not archaeologists. So tell us, why do you think this is Alexander the Great, and what does this tell us about ancient history?
Right. So the mosaic is a panel that's divided into 3 horizontal strips, or what are called registers, that get bigger as you go towards the top. And very typical of art in antiquity, it's telling a story that is meant to be read from the bottom up. And it culminates in the top strip or register, which is the biggest one, with a meeting between 2 very large male figures who are bigger because they're more important than everybody else. One figure who is an elderly bearded man dressed all in white, who I think pretty much we all agree has to be a Jewish high priest, and another large male figure who is younger but also bearded. And that male figure is dressed in a very elaborate military outfit and has the attributes of a king. He's got a diadem on his head, and he's wearing a purple cloak, and he's accompanied by all sorts of figures that indicate that he's a Greek king. There's a Greek military formation next to him. There are battle elephants. These are all things that were associated with the Greek kings from the time of Alexander the Great on. So really, it's got to be a meeting between a Jewish high priest and either Alexander the Great or one of his successors. So I think it's actually telling the story of a meeting between Alexander the Great and the Jewish high priest.
Now, I only have about 30 seconds here, but why would that be significant?
Well, well, this was a story that circulated a lot in antiquity, but probably never occurred in the centuries following Alexander the Great's death, when he became so famous that he became the Great. The Jews sought to associate themselves with Alexander, and stories began to circulate about a meeting like this having taken place.
Fascinating. We know this site has been the site with a lot of different discoveries. So we look forward to having you back, Jodi, to talk more about your work. But thank you for sharing a little snapshot of it for us today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Fascinating mystery.